cities. Now, if planned and managed well, this should become the main tool for sustainable development and could be a potential solution to many of the challenges our planet is facing today. Here's Pierre Elong Mbassi, Secretary General of the governing body of the United Nations, the UCLG Africa. Pierre, Mr. Mbassi, we'll go with Mr. Mbassi. Thank you very much for creating time. We've been moving back and forth with this conversation. Finally, we get to have it. Now, earlier we were speaking about moving or reurbanization and the impact that it might have to markets. And then later, while the years moved on, we now saw a lot of people shifting from the cities as it became more expensive. In this new report, we're seeing that over half of the global population still resides in the cities. How is this possible at this particular time and given the shift or dynamics of most of our incomes?
Well, what do you want them to do? The issue is Africa is the last urbanizing region in the world. And of course, it's happened in a period where Africa is facing a lot of problems, but also this urbanization is offering a lot of opportunities for Africa to grow and develop. So for me, there is no harm in terms of what this urbanization can bring if it is well managed. But if it is not, then the result will be the sprawl and more slum area and more insecure environment. So I think it is a call for people to act, to take advantage of this urbanization, but also to act now to avoid the ill effect of it.
Right now, since we had the World Urban Forum, the 9th one, and this was focused as an instrument to feed into input, what exactly came out of it in regards to implementation of the new urban agenda that was adopted in Habitat 3? You've talked about management, but what exactly came out of it?
You know, we discovered that in the case of Africa, most of the urban growth is made by the people that are creating new neighborhoods which are unplanned. And as you know, 60% of our people in African cities live in such informal settlement. And you cannot do without them. For now, most of the urban planning tended to ignore this informal settlement. What we launched at the World Urban Forum is what we call a campaign on Know Your City, inviting all local leaders to work with slum dwellers in order that we build inclusive cities. If we cannot do that, then we'll have a city which is divided, where gated communities are circulated by ghettos for poor. And this is not no more a city. A city is communalities, is the sharing of common vision on the future of all citizens, and not a divided environment where people are against each other. And this is a risk if we don't know exactly what are the population of our cities.
Now, given what you've said, the main agenda was moving towards sustainable development and, of course, a common vision for achievement of the Agenda 2030. But there's a big if. This is dependent on whether cities are planned and managed well. But the big if is what happens in the event that we move at the same pace we are going on now, and the cities are not planned according to what we've noted to the report and expectations. How far back will we have to rethink most of our strategy?
You cannot afford having cities that are not planned. If we do so, is not good for the development of the country, is not good for the poor people. Because there is something that the poor cannot accept, is that they build a small house in a plot, and then you come afterwards and say, oh, there is a street that will go through your plot, and you have to destroy the small house that you have built so painfully. So it is very critical that every government, every local government embark into a planning exercise. But this planning should not be the kind of planning that we had before. We need planning involving the people. We need planning that is done with the people, not for the people. Because in my tribe, they say, what you do for me, without me, you do it against me. So the new planning that we need is that inclusive planning and people-oriented planning, and shying away from this kind of technocracy that make things more complex instead of explaining to the people what they have to do. People are not stupid. If they have good explanation, they can contribute, and there is no way we can get our cities working, becoming engine of growth without involving the people as an asset for urban planning.
Right, many thanks. We have to leave it there. Jean-Pierre Elong Mbassi, thank you very much for creating time to speak to us, given the shift to trying to lock down this interview. Mr. Mbassi is the Secretary General of the governing body of the United Nations, UCLG, that represents over 350 million African citizens. Thank you very much to Mr. Mbassi. Allow us to take a short break.